Good morning from just outside of Kapa'a in a little village called Kapa'i on the island of Kauai, the state of Hawaii. I'm going to talk a little bit this morning. We hadn't done a spirit walk in a long time. I've only done 2 since I've been here, which has been about 7 months, 2 or 3 of them. So, good afternoon. This morning I said good afternoon. Hello, Terry Ackerman, homegirl. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're gonna have a little discussion about the shadow today on this spirit walk. That's something I've been working on. I know we all been working on our shadows. It's a big deal, shadow. We spent a lot of time thinking the human was nothing but shadow, wanting to get away from the human experience, the human condition. Beam me up, Scotty, take me home. Bring the angels in to take us home, the spaceships to get out of here. Well, we don't get out of here. We're here for a reason. We're doing yeoman's work. We're warriors and warrioresses. We're doing universal work here. And we are all getting connected and more connected to the higher dimensions, and that's a little mind-blowing at times. But the universe teaches in a paradoxical manner. And what's closest to you is where the answer is, and that's where we're at today. It's this shadow. I made a post yesterday. Hey, Michael Aberson. I made a post yesterday, came to me as I was digging through shadow, and it said, don't walk with the light in front of you, walk with the light behind you so that you can see your shadow at all times. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's just something that came through. Infinite intelligence, as it does for all of us, each and every one of us. Shadow's an interesting thing. Shadow is when you want to correct somebody and explain to them they're wrong and you're right. Doesn't mean you're not right. It just means that the shadow's the one that has to do the correcting. Because the soul doesn't have to say anything. The soul can just hold that field of vibration, and does at all times, whether we know it or not. Our soul is always listening. Always listening. And the question is, are we listening to it? And the flip side of it, which is the ego, the shadow, you know, the what we don't want to look at. You know, the math hasn't changed up to this point. The math hasn't changed. It's still in the shadow work. And it took a lot of us a long time because we resisted, including you and me. But that's where the gold is. That's where the gold is. There's my shadow. I got to keep an eye on it. The shadow's a good thing. It can teach us a lot. And best of all about the shadow is that once we get through it, once we integrate it, love it, learn it, face it, brace it, embrace it, there's a big pot of gold on the other side of it. So a lot of people right now, these last couple days, man, wow. WTF. I had to cancel all shows yesterday. I apologize to those who I did. And funny thing is, I had 2 shows today and a business meeting, Soulogy meeting, which was needed. And I canceled the Soulogy meeting because I'm not up for it. I'm not good. I'm in the shadow. I'm working towards the good and the gold. And then the other 2 shows, they canceled. So rather than playing in my shadow and saying, why did you cancel? I look at it as the gift, what we perceive as a shadow is, you know? Freaking crazy day yesterday, yeah. Yesterday was off the hook. Off the hook. 55 in the house, Ascended Masters. Yeah, So the shadow can teach us a lot. Somebody put on my post, the one I was talking about earlier, they said, you are the light, and the light casts no shadow. All right, I respect that. She's a sweet, sweet, sweet sister. I made that comment. I usually don't look at them too much, but I knew that one was for me. And I think that's true. You know, pure light. I think we've all had a meditation or dimensional experience where ends up going to this big orb of light. People that have had NDE, same thing. But that's our home base. That's what we truly are. Yeah, we're all one in that light, sharing that space, feeling the whole collective of it and our individual self at the same time, the drop in the ocean. But we didn't come down here to be in the light all the time. We came down here to expand the light. And we expand the light by digging through our shadows. And that's not an easy thing to do. And these energies that have been coming down for months and months and months, that are getting faster and bigger every day, coming faster every day, more frequency, they are getting real loud. Real loud. So if you see those around you online or in person getting loud, make sure that you check yourself before you start feeding that monster. Oh, what's wrong with them? Oh, they're wrong. Oh, this, oh, that. It's a good time to look at ourselves, because we're all mirrors, and not everybody, but if you see that turmoil and that discontent and that unrest and that uneasiness and that projecting and that confusing frequencies in front of you, then it's you, just like it always is. So what I'm saying is, if you see people acting out, or you notice that you're taking that energy in other words, like say you're going down the news feed and saying, instead of saying, oh wow, what a beautiful post, man, you're saying, hey man, why is that dude writing that? Hey, why is she writing that? You know, what's up with that person? It's a good time to look at ourselves, because this is what these energies are doing right now. They're getting down into the microscopic of the unveiling, which is the apocalypse, the unveiling of ourselves, you know? And it's hard to see sometimes, it really is. It's hard to see your shadow. It's hard to see. But one thing's for sure, you can't see your shadow if you're focusing on those around you and in one way or another comparing yourself to them by the thoughts and the words that you speak, judgment. But you can have a much better chance, if not 100% chance, to find your shadow if you just shut the fuck up, go in your own space, sit with it, even when you don't know what it is, even if you don't think it's there, but you're seeing those things that are around you as mirrors, you're seeing shadow, there's something in there for you, and it will come to you if you ask for it. I'm no preacher, and I'm no guru, and I'm no yogi. I'm just a broadcaster trying to make the best of things here on Mother Earth and contribute to the collective like all of us are. And I think we've all learned that the best way to do that is to work on ourselves. It's not really work on ourselves either, it's play. We can play with the shadow. We can play with the shadow because we know if we put it to rest, it's gone, just like death. You know? What's the biggest shadow? Death. What's the biggest illusion? Death. What's a shadow? An illusion. But it has to be respected, honored, and loved, and revered, because it's a key ingredient, the key ingredient, call it ego, call it shadow, to us being here. It built the contrast of the experiences. The deeper the shadow, the higher the light. But we've all made a lot of progress, and we're getting to the point now where we can actually, if we use our minds right, spend our time creating, instead of the work of the shadow. You know, let's do the play of the shadow. Use that shadow energy, that emotions. They fill you up, they make you imbalanced, they make you confused. You go into a silent space by yourself, just you and the universe, and you merge with it. And then you force it up that kundalini, that sacred sexual vibration, and you put out some expressions for the world, you do some work for the world, you shine your light on the world. Whew, it's getting hot. So, anyway, that's what I woke up talking to the universe about, actually about the last 24 hours. Shadow. My shadows. May we all find our shadows. May we all keep looking for our shadows. I might be back on later today. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for letting me share my experience with you. I feel better. I hope I did something good for somebody.